So you're wondering what you have to do in order to match into radiology. And as a current R1 or PGY2 diagnostic radiology resident, I do think I can come up with some things that should be able to help you. So the way this video will be organized is we'll talk about what you can do in your first and second year at med school, and then talk about third year and fourth year. So with that said, let's jump into things. Now, I do have to say that everything kind of starts in your first and second year of medical school. So my first recommendation is to learn as much as you can, soak it all in, and study super hard, because ultimately that will set you up for success when you're on rotations and when you're studying for your board exams down the line. Building that solid knowledge base and doing well on step 1 and step 2 is extremely important. Honestly, I can't emphasize that enough, because a good USMLE score is going to ultimately get you more interviews when you apply. I think the average step 1 score for radiology is somewhere around 240 to 241, and then for step 2 it's anywhere between 246 and 249. Although it's not impossible to match into radiology with the lower step 1 score, you certainly don't want to prematurely close any doors. In addition to your regular schoolwork, I think first and second year is also a good time to get started on research projects, do some community service, and get involved in clubs. For example, it certainly would look good if you held a leadership role at your school's radiology club, and if your school doesn't have one, you can always start one. I would also recommend joining some radiology societies like the RSNA or the AUR, so that way you're in the loop regarding things like conferences so that you can showcase your research, and mentorship opportunities so you can do some networking, because sometimes it's not so much how much you know, but sometimes it just boils down to who you know. Regarding research, your projects don't necessarily have to be related to radiology, but that certainly wouldn't hurt. If you look at the most recent NRMP data, the average diagnostic radiology applicant has between 6 to 7 research projects between their publications, posters, and presentations. Doing research shows that you're organized, disciplined, and persistent, because we're all familiar with the challenges of presenting and publishing research. Plus, a research mentor that you work with might be able to put in a good word for you at a particular residency program when it comes around to applying. And if you want some more tips about doing research, then I'll link to a video that I made in the description box below, or somewhere up here on the screen. Basically, studying hard, doing some research, and being well balanced are the main things that you can really do during your first and second year of med school. So I think if you do a lot of the things that I've talked about here, then you'll know a lot about the specialty, and you'll know whether it's right for you, which is super important, and then that passion and interest is definitely going to show on your residency application. Now, once you're on your third year rotations, you definitely want to do a radiology rotation as early as you can in order to demonstrate your interest in the specialty, but just as importantly, you want to do really well on all of your other rotations as well, especially on internal medicine and surgery, because those two rotations are kind of the core of medicine. Definitely continue studying hard, especially for those pesky shelf exams, because building that broad knowledge base is actually really important to being a good radiologist. Another reason why doing well on your core rotations or your non-radiology rotations is because the comments from your evaluations go into your dean's letter, and your dean's letter is part of your residency application. So you definitely want to show that you do well clinically, that you're responsible, and that you're a team player. I think it's safe to say that radiology programs look for good grades during your third year rotations, so do your best to be on time, be enthusiastic, and ask appropriate questions. And if you do well on a particular rotation, make sure to ask for a letter of recommendation right away, so that way you're fresh in the attending's mind, and that way they can write you a more personal letter of recommendation. You only need 3 letters of recommendation for radiology, but I would recommend planning on getting 4, so that way if one falls through, you have a backup. All you need is 1 radiology letter and then 2 non-radiology letters from your third year core rotations. So for example, I had a radiology letter, a pediatrics letter, and an internal medicine letter. And if you want some more tips about getting strong letters of recommendation, then definitely check out this video up here. In your third year, you also want to apply for away rotations for your fourth year, especially at programs that you might want to match at. Radiology away rotations are kind of a mixed bag. They're no guarantee that you'll match somewhere or you'll even get an interview invitation, but they certainly could increase the odds of that happening. I would also recommend doing one if you need to get a radiology letter of recommendation, or if you want to show on your application that you're interested in a certain region of the country. Of course, you also want to write a compelling personal statement about why you want to go into radiology, and if you need some tips about how to do that, definitely check out this video that I made on my channel here. One thing you could do to potentially increase your chances of getting an interview at a particular program is write a customized, tailored personal statement for that program. Instead of sending one personal statement that's kind of generic, to all of the programs. Programs want to know why you're interested in coming there, so if you write about that in your personal statement, then you're more likely to pique the attention of whoever's reviewing your application and ultimately get an interview. Just make sure not to send the wrong letter to the wrong program, if that makes sense. After that, there's really no secret. It's just apply broadly, apply early, and then crush your interviews. And at the end of interview season, make sure to let your number one choice know that they are indeed your number one choice. Then just formulate your rank list according to your preferences, and you should be able to match in March. The last thing I'll briefly mention is that because radiology is an advanced specialty, meaning it starts in the PGY2 year of training, you also have to apply to preliminary internship programs in order to get training for your PGY1 year. Most radiology programs are advanced and not categorical, so they don't have an affiliated internship. And the types of internships that you can do are internal medicine, surgery, or transitional year, which is what I did, which is kind of a mix of both medicine and surgery. When I applied, I only applied to internal medicine prelim programs and then TY prelim programs because surgery internships have notoriously brutal hours. My radiology program is one of the few categorical programs, so when I matched here, I matched both into the affiliated TY internship and the PGY2 diagnostic radiology residency. So in summary, in order to match into radiology, you want to study hard, crush the USMLE, do some research, join some radiology societies, do well on your clinical rotations, do a radiology rotation early on in your third year, get strong letters of recommendation, write a compelling personal statement, and you should be good to go. It might sound like a lot, but if I can do it, then you definitely can too. So that officially wraps up this video. I hope you found it helpful, and if you did, I would love to hear from you in the comments below. As every YouTuber says, don't forget to smash the like, subscribe button, follow me on Instagram and TikTok, and I guess I'll see you on the next one. Peace.